The Silent Sentinel. The Carina Nebula blazed like a cosmic inferno against the void, its swirling gases casting crimson shadows across the research vessel Helios. Dr. Ravenna Zhou stood at the observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the ethereal spectacle before her. After 15 years of searching, the anomaly she detected might finally prove her theory: humanity's supposed extinction was an elaborate deception. The Nautilian Empire had declared victory over humanity centuries ago, their crystalline ships becoming the undisputed rulers of known space. Their historians painted humans as savage creatures who needed to be eliminated for the greater good of galactic civilization. But Ravenna knew better. The patterns she discovered in subspace radiation couldn't be natural, they were messages, hidden in plain sight. "Doctor, we're picking up unusual energy signatures from Sector 7, announced First Officer Marcus Reed, his holographic form materializing beside her. His translucent features were creased with concern. "The readings match nothing in our database." "Plot a course," Ravenna commanded, her heart racing. "And Marcus? Keep this off the official channels." The Helios glided through the nebula's outer layers, its advanced shielding dispersing the cosmic radiation. As they penetrated deeper into the gas cloud, the ship's sensors began detecting structured formations hidden within the chaos, geometric patterns too precise to be natural. "By the stars," Marcus whispered, his holographic form flickering with excitement. "It's a station. Human design." Before them loomed a massive structure, its dark metal surface barely visible through the nebula's veil. Ancient defense turrets lined its hull, powered down but intact. This wasn't just a remnant of humanity's last stand, it was a perfectly preserved fortress. Initiating docking procedures, Marcus announced, his voice tight with anticipation. "Doctor, if the Nautilians discover this." "They won't," Ravenna assured him, though uncertainty gnawed at her core. The station's existence proved her theories, but it also placed them all in terrible danger. The Nautilian Empire didn't tolerate challenges to their historical narrative. As they docked with the station, Ravenna donned her environmental suit, checking its seals with practiced precision. The station's airlock cycled with surprising efficiency, suggesting internal systems were still operational. The beam from her helmet light cut through the darkness, revealing corridors untouched by time. "Power signatures are increasing," Marcus reported through her comm, "the station appears to be responding to our presence." Ravenna moved deeper into the station, her boots echoing against metal floors. The air was stale but breathable, another sign that basic systems remained functional. She passed laboratories filled with equipment she recognized from historical archives, quantum computers, particle accelerators, and devices whose purposes she could only guess at. Then she found the command center. As she stepped through the doorway, lights flickered to life, and holographic displays materialized around her. A voice, ancient but clear, filled the chamber. "Identity confirmed. Human genetic signature detected. Welcome, Dr. Zhou." Ravenna froze. "How do you know my name?" This facility was programmed to recognize all potential human survivors through genetic markers. "I am Nexus, the station's primary artificial intelligence. We have been waiting for someone like you." The holographic displays came alive with data, star charts, military coordinates, and communication frequencies. Each screen told part of a story that had been hidden for centuries. Humanity hadn't been exterminated, they had orchestrated the greatest disappearing act in galactic history. The extinction was a strategic retreat, Nexus explained. While the Nautilians celebrated their victory, humanity scattered across unknown regions of space, establishing hidden colonies and developing technologies beyond their comprehension. This station is one of many sentinel posts, waiting to activate the recall protocol. Ravenna's mind raced with the implications. How many survived? Millions. Hidden in dimensional pockets, parallel time streams, and regions of space the Nautilians never thought to explore. Humanity didn't just survive, Dr. Zhou. They evolved. Warning alarms suddenly blared through the station. Marcus's voice crackled over her calm, "Doctor, we have multiple Nautilian vessels entering the nebula. They're on an intercept course." Ravenna turned to the AI. "Nexus, we need to hide the station." "Negative, Dr. Zhou." The station's discovery was anticipated. The recall protocol has already begun. After centuries of preparation, humanity is ready to return. The station hummed with awakening power, its ancient weapons charging as distant stars flickered with new light, the signal spreading across the galaxy, awakening other hidden outposts. The human extinction was a lie, and the truth was about to reshape the cosmos. Echoes of defiance. Deep within the crystalline towers of New Lanti, Commander Jackson Hayes watched the alien city through eyes that weren't his own. His consciousness flowed through the quantum surveillance network, riding the streams of data that kept the Nautilian Empire's capital under constant observation. 1,000 years of hiding had taught humanity patience, and Hayes had mastered the art of waiting. The news of Dr. Zhou's discovery was spreading through the hidden channels, encrypted in bursts of data so subtle they appeared as mere background radiation. The Nautilians, for all their technological advancement, never suspected their own communications network had been infiltrated centuries ago by dormant human AIs. "Status update," Hayes subvocalized, his neural implants translating thought to secure transmission. "Sentinel station activation confirmed," responded Lieutenant Raina Patel, her voice a whisper in his mind. "The Nautilian High Command is scrambling to contain the situation, but they don't understand what they're dealing with." Hayes allowed himself a small smile. The Nautilians had always underestimated human ingenuity. While they built their empire on principles of order and perfection, humanity had embraced chaos and adaptation. Every crystal spire in New Lanti contained hidden quantum processors, planted by generations of human sleeper agents disguised as maintenance drones. "Begin Phase 2, Hayes commanded. "Wake the others." Across the city, microscopic changes began occurring in the crystalline architecture. Quantum states shifted, previously dormant systems awakened, and buried protocols activated. The Nautilian Empire had spent centuries believing they had exterminated humanity, never realizing their greatest achievement had become their greatest vulnerability. "Sir," Raina's voice carried an edge of excitement, "we're detecting response signals from the outer colonies. The network is alive." The surveillance feed showed Hayes the panic spreading through the Nautilian High Command. Their sensors were detecting impossible energy signatures, their perfect systems displaying data they couldn't comprehend. Humanity's ghost program was revealing itself, and the Empire's leadership had no defense against an enemy they thought long dead. Their arrogance was always their weakness, Hayes mused, watching Nautilian ships scrambling from the spaceport. They were so convinced of our extinction that they never looked deeper. The quantum network pulsed with new information. Dr. Zhou's discovery had triggered a cascade effect, awakening hidden human outposts across the galaxy. But it wasn't just military installations coming online, entire colonies were emerging from dimensional shadows, research stations were decloaking, and fleets of advanced ships were appearing in supposedly empty space. "Commander," Raina's voice was urgent now, "the Nautilian defense grid is attempting to compensate. They're initiating emergency protocols." "Let them," Hayes replied calmly. "Execute Liberation Protocol Omega." Throughout New Lanti, the hidden quantum processors began their work. The city's crystal towers, symbols of Nautilian superiority, transformed into conduits for human technology. Security systems turned against their masters, communication networks became weapons, and the perfect order of the Empire's capital descended into calculated chaos. Hayes stepped out of his hiding place, no longer needing to maintain his cover as a maintenance overseer. Around him, other sleeper agents emerged, humans who had lived among their enemies for years, waiting for this moment. The Nautilian guards, their crystalline armor gleaming, found their weapons unresponsive. "1,000 years, Hayes announced, his voice carrying through hijacked communication systems. 1,000 years we waited, we planned, we evolved. You thought you had destroyed us, but you only forced us to become something greater. The Nautilian High Command Chamber erupted in panic as Hayes's message reached them. The Empire's leaders, their translucent bodies radiating distress patterns, found themselves trapped by their own security systems. You tried to erase us from history, Hayes continued, leading his team through the crystal corridors. But humanity doesn't die so easily. We don't just survive, we transform. Every defeat makes us stronger, every setback teaches us, and every enemy becomes our teacher. Reyna appeared beside him, her stealth field dissolving. The quantum network is fully under our control. The entire capital is ours. Above the city, the sky rippled as hidden human ships decloaked. They weren't the crude vessels of a millennium ago, these were products of centuries of hidden development, technology that had evolved far beyond Nautilian understanding. Send word to all outposts, Hayes commanded. The time for hiding is over. Humanity has outgrown its chrysalis, and the galaxy will remember why they feared us. As New Lantia's defenses crumbled, Hayes thought of all the generations that had lived and died maintaining this deception. They had transformed extinction into evolution, defeat into metamorphosis. The Nautilian Empire had tried to write humanity's epitaph, never realizing they were instead witnessing its rebirth. The revolution had begun, and this was only the first wave. Somewhere out there, Dr. Zhou's discovery was still sending ripples through space, awakening more hidden strongholds. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon had always been its ability to rise from its own ashes, stronger and more formidable than before. The Quantum Deception. In the depths of Europa's subsurface ocean, Dr. Thaddeus Walker stood before the Quantum Archive, its crystalline matrices glowing with centuries of accumulated knowledge. The hidden facility, buried beneath kilometers of ice, had served as humanity's greatest library since the false extinction. Every discovery, every advancement, every step of their secret evolution had been preserved here. Begin Archive's declassification sequence, Thaddeus commanded, his weathered hands moving across the holographic interface. Authorization Walker 7 Delta. The Archive's security protocols recognized his genetic signature, unlocking layers of data that had remained sealed for centuries. Around him, the chamber came alive with projections, technical schematics, historical records, and scientific breakthroughs that would reshape the understanding of the cosmos. Fascinating, came a voice from behind him. Dr. Olivia Blackwood, his research partner, stepped into the light. Her dark skin reflected the blue glow of the archives. All this time, we weren't just hiding, we were transcending. Thaddeus nodded, his gray eyes reflecting the scrolling data. The Nautilians thought they had destroyed us, but they only forced us to evolve beyond their comprehension. Look at this. He gestured, and a hologram expanded to fill the chamber. It showed the true extent of humanity's hidden civilization, vast networks of quantum-shifted colonies existing in parallel dimensions, ships capable of manipulating spacetime itself, and technologies that blended the lines between organic and artificial intelligence. The Extinction Protocol wasn't just a military strategy, Olivia realized, studying the displays. It was an evolutionary catalyst. Precisely, Thaddeus confirmed. Our ancestors knew they couldn't defeat the Nautilian Empire through conventional means. So they chose to disappear, using their own defeat as cover for the greatest scientific endeavor in human history. The archives revealed the truth of humanity's thousand-year deception. While the Nautilians celebrated their victory, humans had retreated to hidden enclaves throughout the galaxy. Each generation pushed the boundaries further, developing technologies that operated on principles the Nautilians couldn't fathom. We received word from New Lanti, Olivia reported, checking her quantum communicator. Commander Hayes has secured the capital. The Nautilian High Command is in chaos. Thaddeus smiled grimly. Then it's time for the next phase. Access Protocol Prometheus. The Archive's central core pulsed with new energy as it began transmitting its knowledge to every awakened human outpost. A millennium of hidden advancement was finally being shared openly, providing the scattered remnants of humanity with the tools they needed for the coming conflict. They never understood us, Thaddeus mused, watching the data flow. The Nautilians built their empire on principles of order and stagnation. They thought wiping us out would preserve their perfect society. Instead, they created their own nightmare. The holographic displays showed the extent of humanity's evolution. They had learned to exist in multiple states of reality simultaneously, developed consciousness transfer technologies, and mastered energy manipulation at the quantum level. Every weakness the Nautilians had tried to exploit had become a source of strength. Warning, the Archive's AI announced suddenly. Multiple Nautilian vessels detected entering the Sol system. They're searching for the source of the quantum transmissions. Olivia tensed, but Thaddeus remained calm. Let them come. Activate the solar defense grid. Throughout the solar system, ancient weapons platforms awakened. They weren't the crude weapons of the past, these were products of centuries of hidden development. The Nautilian ships, for all their crystalline beauty, were about to face technology they couldn't understand. You know what's truly ironic? Thaddeus said, watching the tactical display. They called us primitive, violent, unpredictable. They never realized those traits were our greatest assets. While they remained unchanged for 1,000 years, we never stopped adapting. The first Nautilian ships entered weapons range, their sensors probing for signs of resistance. They found more than they bargained for as the defense grid engaged. Space itself seemed to warp around their vessels, reality bending according to principles they had never imagined possible. The archives are fully distributed, Olivia announced. Every human outpost now has access to our complete technological database. Thaddeus nodded, satisfaction evident in his aged features. Then humanity's resurrection is truly beginning. We're no longer the species they thought they destroyed. We've become something they can't comprehend, a civilization that turned extinction into ascension. As the Nautilian fleet struggled against defenses they couldn't understand, Thaddeus thought about the generations of scientists who had contributed to this moment. They had worked in secret, passed their knowledge down through carefully chosen successors, all while maintaining the illusion of humanity's demise. Send word to all archives, he commanded. The time for secrecy is over. Show them what humanity has become. Breaking dawn. Admiral Helena Drake stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, watching as reality itself bent around her flagship. The massive vessel, hidden for centuries in a pocket dimension, represented the pinnacle of humanity's clandestine evolution. Through the quantum viewport, she observed the gathering of humanity's scattered fleet, ships emerging from dimensional shadows, time streams, and regions of space the Nautilians had never thought to explore. Fleet status report, she commanded, her voice carrying the weight of centuries of preparation. 700 vessels have emerged from quantum storage, reported Strategic Officer Benjamin Torres, his hands dancing across holographic controls. Another 1,000 are en route from the deep space colonies. The Nautilians are tracking none of them. The ships assembling before them defied conventional physics. Some phased between multiple states of existence, others bent light around their hulls until they became living shadows. Each vessel represented a different path of human evolution. Some crews had merged with their ships through neural interfaces, others had transcended physical form entirely. Signal from the Europa Archive, announced Communications Chief Lyra Chen. Dr. Walker reports the technological database has been fully distributed. All ships now have access to our complete arsenal. Helena nodded, her silver hair reflecting the ethereal light of quantum space. Begin integration protocols. It's time our scattered forces remembered they're part of a greater whole. The fleet moved in perfect synchronization, their quantum cores pulsing in harmony. A millennium of separation had forced each human enclave to develop unique solutions to survival. Now, those diverse approaches were becoming their greatest strength. Multiple Nautilian battle groups detected, Torres reported. They're attempting to establish a containment perimeter around their core systems. Let them try, Helena replied, a tight smile playing across her features. They still think they're fighting the humans they nearly destroyed 1,000 years ago. Show them how wrong they are. The Prometheus led the advance, its quantum drives bending space in ways that made conventional sensors useless. The Nautilian ships, for all their crystalline beauty, were relics of a stagnant civilization. They had spent centuries perfecting their existing technology, never imagining that their supposedly extinct enemies had transcended such limitations. Message from Commander Hayes on New Lanti, Lyra announced. The capital is secure. The Nautilian High Command has been contained. And Dr. Zhou? The Sentinel Station network is fully operational. All hidden outposts are awakening. Helena allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The plan, centuries in the making, was unfolding perfectly. The Nautilians had thought themselves invincible in their crystal cities, never realizing they had built their empire on a foundation of human deception. Launch the quantum probes, she ordered. Let's show them what humanity has become. Across the battlefield, reality rippled as the probes activated. They weren't weapons in the conventional sense, they were windows into possibility, showing the Nautilians glimpses of human advancement that their rigid minds struggled to comprehend. Enemy fleet is in disarray, Torres reported, a note of satisfaction in his voice. Their formations are breaking. They can't coordinate their responses. Of course not, Helena said softly. They're trying to fight an enemy that exists in multiple realities simultaneously. Their perfect order is useless against quantum chaos. The Nautilian ships fired crystalline beams that passed harmlessly through human vessels existing in parallel dimensions. Their tactical computers, designed to predict conventional warfare, failed completely against ships that operated outside normal causality. Admiral, Lyra called out, we're receiving surrender signals from multiple Nautilian outposts. Their colonial governments are falling into chaos. Helena watched as the enemy fleet scattered, their perfect formations dissolving into panic. The Nautilians had built their society on principles of order and control, never understanding that their greatest strength could become their greatest weakness. Send word to all ships, she commanded. Phase 2 begins now. Show them why humanity's greatest power was never our technology, it was our ability to embrace change. The human fleet moved as one, their quantum cores synchronizing to create effects that redefined the possible. Space itself seemed to bow before them, time became fluid, and reality bent to the will of a species that had turned extinction into transcendence. To all human forces, Helena broadcast, her voice carrying across quantum channels to every ship and outpost. For 1,000 years, we hid in the shadows, evolved in secret and prepared for this moment. The Nautilians thought they had written our ending. Instead, they only wrote the prologue to our ascension. The fleet advanced, each ship a testament to humanity's refusal to accept defeat. They had taken the traits the Nautilians despised, their chaos, their adaptability, their defiance of convention, and forged them into powers beyond comprehension. Phoenix Rising. The quantum storms raged across the Nautilian homeworld, reality itself buckling under the weight of humanity's return. In the crystalline throne room of the Imperial Palace, Dr. Ravenna Zhou stood face to face with the Nautilian Emperor, Vexthor, his translucent form shifting with patterns of distress and disbelief. Impossible, he whispered, his crystalline voice fracturing. We erased you from existence. You tried, Ravenna replied, her dark eyes reflecting the chaos outside. But humanity doesn't die so easily. We just evolve. Through the quantum-shifted windows, they could see Admiral Drake's fleet engaging the last of the Imperial defenders. The human ships moved like living shadows, existing in multiple states simultaneously, their weapons reshaping the fabric of space itself. Report from Commander Hayes, announced Marcus through Ravenna's neural link. The quantum network has completely subverted their defense grid. The Empire is falling. The Emperor's guards had long since fled, their perfect discipline shattered by weapons they couldn't comprehend. In orbit, Dr. Walker's archives had transformed every human ship into a testament to their species' hidden evolution. "You don't understand what you've done," Vexthor said, his crystalline form pulsing with anger. "The galaxy needs order. Structure. Your chaos will destroy everything we built." "No," Ravenna countered. "We're not here to destroy. We're here to transform. Your empire's greatest flaw was believing that perfection meant stagnation." The throne room shuddered as another quantum wave passed through the city. Outside, human ships phased between dimensions, their quantum cores working in harmony to unravel the rigid structure of Nautilian society. "Admiral Drake reports the last Imperial fleet has surrendered," Marcus updated. "The outer colonies are declaring independence from the Empire." Ravenna stepped closer to the Emperor, her movements deliberate. "1,000 years ago, your people thought they were writing humanity's epitaph. Instead, you gave us the ultimate gift, the freedom to evolve beyond your comprehension." Through the windows, they watched as human vessels descended from the quantum storms. Each ship was unique, representing different paths of human advancement. Some were biomechanical entities, others were pure energy constructs piloted by transcended consciousness. "Look at what we've become," Ravenna gestured to the display. "While your empire perfected its crystalline cities, we explored realities you never imagined. While you built walls to keep chaos out, we learned to harness it. Every trait you despised in us became our strength." The Emperor's form flickered as understanding finally dawned. "You never needed to defeat us," he realized. "You just needed us to believe we'd won." "Exactly," Ravenna smiled. "Your victory was our greatest deception." Each generation of Nautilians grew more complacent, more convinced of their superiority. "You never noticed as we seeded your empire with quantum processors, infiltrated your networks with dormant AIs, and prepared for this moment." A new signal caught their attention. Hundreds of human colonies were emerging from dimensional pockets across the galaxy. Not hidden outposts or military installations, but entire civilizations that had evolved in secret, each developing technologies and abilities the Nautilians had never dreamed possible. "The quantum transformation is complete," Marcus reported. "All Nautilian systems are under our control." Ravenna turned back to the Emperor. "Your empire isn't ending, Vexthor. It's being reborn. Humanity didn't return for revenge, we came back to show you a better way. Your people valued perfection, but perfection without growth is just another form of death." Above them, the quantum storms began to clear, revealing a sky filled with ships from both civilizations. The rigid crystalline designs of Nautilian vessels now flowed with new energy, transformed by human quantum technology into something greater than either species had imagined. "You have a choice," Ravenna continued. "Keep clinging to your perfect, stagnant empire, or join us in evolution. The galaxy is larger than either of our species imagined, filled with possibilities your order never allowed you to see." The Emperor stared at the transformed sky, his crystalline form reflecting the light of a new dawn. "What happens now?" he asked, his voice carrying the weight of a civilization at a crossroads. "Now." Ravenna smiled, extending her hand. "Now we show you why humanity's greatest strength was never our technology or our defiance. It was our ability to face the unknown and see not danger, but possibility. We turn enemies into allies, obstacles into opportunities, and extinction into transcendence." As the last quantum storms faded, the galaxy watched as two civilizations began an unprecedented transformation. The rigid perfection of the Nautilian Empire merged with humanity's chaos and adaptability, creating something entirely new. They had turned 1,000-year deception into the greatest revolution the cosmos had ever witnessed. Humanity hadn't just survived, they had shown the galaxy that true strength lies not in perfection, but in the endless capacity to evolve, adapt, and transform. The human extinction was more than a lie, it was the catalyst for a transcendence that would reshape the very fabric of reality itself.